Have you ever felt like you don't really matter? And maybe what you have to say isn't important to others? We all suffer with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. In fact, the more you do, the more it will knock on your door. But I'm here to tell you that the most important thing that you can do to feel important and to understand that your voice is needed in the world is to start to appreciate yourself. I'm talking about self-love here and self-compassion. My name is Aideen. I'm an intuitive voice coach, and I'm going to give you some tips today on how to improve your self-image, your self-love, and your self-compassion. And this is important because if we don't have those things, we underestimate ourselves. We undervalue ourselves. We don't take actions in this world that we could be taking. We hold ourselves back. We procrastinate. We stumble over our words. We don't tell people what we really think. And that leads to just a lot of miscommunication. And, people don't really get to know the real you. And the real you is okay. The real you is not so bad. It's just we're not used to really showing ourselves to others. So when we think about self-love, we might be thinking, oh, I don't want to get too big-headed. Maybe I shouldn't be saying anything because other people's needs are more important than mine. Now, there are occasions where other people's needs may be more important. If someone is very sick and you're hungry, you're going to make sure the sick person gets looked after first. But in most situations, your needs are not that far below the needs of others. And what we need in life is to connect with others in a way that is rewarding. And I don't just mean rewarding in a fulfilling way, but also in our work, to be rewarded for what we have to offer. We deserve to be paid for our work. We deserve to receive recognition for our accomplishments. But if you don't believe in yourself, surely that's the biggest obstacle to actually being rewarded and having others recognize you. I used to really want to do singing, for instance, and I would say to myself, well, there's no point because there's not very much money in, singing, and I just thought that it was something I couldn't do. I used to say I want to be a singer, but I can't do that. The reason I work now with many people around confidence and speaking and voice is because I had a long journey with it myself. I had to figure out how to value my own voice, how to believe in myself enough to study music, how to believe in myself enough to promote my classes when I started teaching singing. And it wasn't simple. But I tell you what made the biggest difference? Learning to accept myself. I learned that I actually wasn't the worst in the world, and that it was okay if I was doing things later in life than others. I hadn't gotten married in my 20s. I didn't have a very successful career. I'd been hopping from one job to another, so I had done it all the wrong way. But when I started to believe in my value, that just me being me was enough, that made a difference. If people have told you that you are good at something, please listen to them. My own teacher said to me one day that I was a kind person. That was my meditation teacher, Dennis. And I really didn't understand when he said you're a kind person. I didn't think of myself that way. It took months for that to settle in with me, and I realized, oh yeah, I do go out of my way to get cups of tea for people even when they don't want them. And so, we don't see ourselves clearly. So here's my tip. Write down 10 things that you think you might be good at. You don't need to know for sure. You don't need to know if you're better than 20 million other people. You just need to ask yourself, I might be good at being kind, being a good friend, helping others, seeing situations clearly, noticing when someone is sad, helping people with their business or their accounts. You could be something like you're good at crafts, you're good at knitting. Write down 10 things that you're good at. And then write down 10 things that you've accomplished. So for instance, I might say, well, I was featured on the TV in Ireland. That's an accomplishment. I got married a few years ago to a man that I didn't know I'd ever see again, who lived in the US. I have been in business since 2016 and I've kept going. That's an accomplishment. So write down a few of your accomplishments. Write down 10 of them. And I want you to look at those lists and ask yourself to really feel it, to really feel grateful and happy. And those two emotions will get you far, feeling grateful and happy. And you can feel it in your body, feel it in your bones. Try this exercise because I know you're undervaluing yourself. I know because I do it to myself too. Other people will say, Aideen, you're a this or you're a that. And I'm like, really? Stop downplaying, okay? Start noticing. You're actually pretty cool. You've actually done a lot. And you do deserve to give yourself some credit and love yourself. If you find that you're criticizing yourself and you're berating yourself for things that you should have done, that you could have done differently, notice that and start to quiet that voice. Just tell that voice, well, I was doing my best. I'm not going to think that way right now. I've actually accomplished a lot and I actually have a lot of good qualities, because you genuinely do. That's my quick tip for today. If you want to develop into a new you, I'd recommend that you sign up on my mailing list on my website, and you'll get in the first email a link to download my new you meditation. There's also singing tips and stuff like that in there, but I do help people with both singing and speaking. So please sign up and enjoy the meditation. I look forward to seeing you again soon. I'm Aideen again. Bye-bye.